Today we're playing The Farmer Was Replaced. It's a game where you program, well, not this guy. This guy does his own thing. But this guy, you program this guy to do farm stuff for you. First thing, I am not a programmer. I dabble a little bit, but I am probably going to make a lot of mistakes. All programming is done in this code window. We can make more blocks with this plus button, harvest, and do a flip. All right, let's see. Do a flip. Cool. Harvest. The parentheses. I wonder how many times that's going to get me. Okay. And there we go. Now we're getting somewhere. But it isn't automated quite yet. So the first unlock, which I guess I didn't need to click as many times as I did, is loops. So this is a while loop, which returns either true or false. You feed it a condition, and it will just loop through it. All right, simple enough. There we go. While true, harvest. Now I don't even have to touch anything. Now it just goes. But it wouldn't be much of a game if it ended there. Let's do speed increase. Oh, and immediately we broke the code. Okay, as part of the speed upgrade, we got if statements. If can harvest. True if the plant under the drone can be harvested, and false otherwise. So then it would just be while true, this, if can harvest, right? There we go. Now we've essentially slowed our guy down after our speed increase, so that's not super great. Let's do expanding the farm. All right, we have a new move function. Move and then feed it that. Oh, and also moving north and you wrap back to the start when it reaches the edge of the farm. So then I can just, after this, move north. It seems to work. I have feelings that I'm doing things wrong already, even though I see it working. All right, I can't get operators because I don't have wood, so I'm assuming that this guy gives me wood. All right, plants, entities, bush. So let's do while true, plant entities dot bush. Hey, seems like we're doing good. All right, senses unlocked. The function get position X and get position Y. We also have number of items. So I guess you can use that to determine like thresholds. Get entity type and get ground type. I feel like this isn't super helpful to upgrade what we got going on right now, but I have a feeling it's going to come into play later. Why don't I let's do operators, and let's also try to get the farm upgrade while I read this. So this is interesting. The modulo, it's 4 divided by 2, but it gives you the remainder. So even 2 goes evenly into 4 and evenly into 6. So it evaluates to 0 in both cases, but it evaluates to 1 because there's a remainder after 5. I'm going to be honest, I have no idea how that equals 2, but you know, whatever. I think we're good. I'm going to upgrade the farm. So much reading. Ooh, we got get world size. So I can just basically copy this, right? So if now it's its own loop. So don't need that anymore. If can harvest, harvest. If you can't harvest, move north. And then the range is 3. So after it does it 3 times, move east. Hey, I don't know why it started in the middle, but it looks like it's good. If I stop it right here, okay, yeah, it's always just gonna be wherever the drone is. So if I wanted it to like reset, I would need to do that clear function we got earlier. Okay, so now it's reset. There you go. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but you know, I didn't even look at the hints. I'm sure that this is going to get a lot harder And at that point, I will be looking at these hints before, but I think so far I'm following along. Okay, so I don't have carrots, and it seems like that's where the game wants me to go next. So let's do carrots. So carrots can only grow on tilled soil, and I have to trade to get carrots. All right, so I think this is where the senses come back in, because that's where we have the get ground type function. In my brain, the way it works is if this function does not equal till the ground. I should write this down. I'm gonna put in a new little guy. We'll call this one carrots because it's kind of different. So while true, I think it's the same for this so far. And then if get ground type does not equal, don't forget the brackets. If get ground type does not equal grounds dot, I'm assuming tilled, right? Or soil? Oh, it literally says it right there. It literally, this is, yeah. Yep. Copy and paste. If get ground type does not equal ground soil, till plant entities dot carrots, move north, move east. So it's the same as our current main, but just now it looks to see if the ground is soil, and then it tills it if it's not. What? Oh, I forgot about the carrot seeds. We need the seeds. Okay. I guess it would just make sense to do a trade, right? Like just trade before you plant. So that way you buy the seed, you plant the seed, you move. Let's see if that works. All right, seems to be working. We're also stockpiling seeds right now because I'm not always able to harvest. And so it skips over, but it still buys the seed. Not a huge deal. We're kind of just making sure we have a bank of them, but it's not the most efficient thing. It could be more efficient. Do I just do another if statement that's like, if the number of items carrot seed is less than 5, then trade, and then plant? Will that fix it? All right, so having watched this run for a second, there's a couple things I'm noticing. One is that I think that this is slowing it down a little bit, which isn't a huge deal because like the crops aren't ready to harvest. But it does feel like it slows down a sec to do the buying of the carrots. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm crazy. The second thing is though, sometimes my guy just like scans over a whole column or row waiting for these carrots to be done. And we just have it do a flip before it moves. Let's just do it. Do a flip. Okay. Gets to the end, does a flip. Does a flip. Gonna be honest, don't know if that's faster. That flip does take a second to execute. It almost feels like you want it to be in like a grid pattern because it does like 2 and then it skips over 1. And sometimes, like if I were to clear it and start it from 0, 0, let's see. Maybe a grid isn't quite right. Oh, we ran out of wood. It costs wood to buy seeds. We do have 500 carrots now. So this is still currently plant bushes. So let's do that. Oh, and you can plant bushes on this tilled soil. I didn't even fix that. I'm just going to make it a little bit easier. You know what? Let's make it so the easiest one is on top, and then it gets more complicated as it goes down. All right, let's see what our next unlock is. Ooh, I want to get to function, so let's do variable. Okay. I don't really think that there's anything I need to turn into a variable right now, but I am down with the functions. Here, I'll bring this over here so we can watch the drone do its thing and read. I have no idea what this means. Because you're like making the definition and the argument is that you're passing to your... Hold on, I gotta... I gotta stop this to try to figure this out. Okay, so what it's saying is you can take these other functions and it lets you get really creative. So it's like, here's your function f, and we have two arguments that you can put into it. Or would they be called arguments or parameter? I don't know. The things that you put in the brackets. And then it's saying for just underscore in range 10, G argument. Oh, okay. You know what? Before I thought that for some reason that this was defining what this was, but I think what it's saying is that these would match up. Still a little confused, but I think we're good. I took a coding class one time, and this is about the extent of where I got. First, let's make these functions. I'd probably want the for loop to be in the main because it's in each one of these. So if I made them functions, I could take that out from these three instances and just put it in over here, right? And then at this point, it's just if you can harvest, which is also in every single one of those. And then it's move north and then move east. But this also has move north and move east. So it's like this one doesn't even have anything that's like unique. And I imagine that's just going to keep repeating. So I wonder if I don't know why I'm so obsessed with the idea of like no repeats. I feel like I've heard programmers say you don't repeat code. And so now I'm just like so paranoid about the idea of you got to condense it as small as possible. Okay, so I'm going to call this function do harvest. I don't know a better naming convention, but it's different than can harvest because it includes can harvest. So def do harvest, because they already have harvest and can harvest. So this is now do harvest. Wait a second. Okay, hold on. So with the functions thing, it was telling me about like how to like nest functions to be weird things. Wait, what? I'm making this more complicated than it needs to be. I'm trying to big brain my way through. I want to be like, oh yeah, just nest the things and do the cool thing that they did over here, you know? Let's slow our roll here. I don't know what I'm doing or what I'm trying to do. There's a part of me that thinks I'm right, but I don't know how to execute or communicate what I'm trying to think of. So let's go back. Do harvest, if can harvest, harvest. And then we can come in here and then just type in do harvest, do harvest. I guess following the same logic, I could also do a do till. All right, after a little bit of work, I've separated out the actions and I've just made them like these do actions. Do harvest, do till, do buy carrots. Yeah, I don't know why that made sense in my brain, but it does look nice right here. Do harvest, do till, do buy carrots, and then plant entity carrots. So now I've just taken everything that I already had working and I've now made it so they have to like call all over the place. Brilliant. But theoretically, I can now just in here have plant hay, plant bush, or plant carrots. Ooh, actually, I wonder if that will make it just do hay, bush, carrot. Nope, still doing bush. Well, this is because this is just if can harvest, harvest, and that's already in all of these other commands. Yeah, that makes sense. So the question is, why is it not finding carrots? Honestly, I have no idea. But this was never the plan. The plan was to make it so if the position of the drone is an odd number, this is 0, 0. So anyway I slice that, 0, 0 is probably going to be even. That's odd. So we want it to be even numbers. On even number, well, that's not an even number. You know what? I'm not going to worry about evens or odds. I'm just going to say every other. Yeah. Operators, this guy. This guy. Returns 0, returns 1, returns 0. So if get position X is... Hold on, I can do this. All right, so if the Y position is divisible by 2, then plant bush. And then else, I guess let's not really worry about the hay right now. So plant carrots. What did I get wrong? A colon? There? Okay, well, it didn't, I mean, it did like half of the thing that I wanted it to do. But honestly, it kind of works. I was trying to get it to like a checkerboard pattern. Oh, but I guess because I only asked for the Y position. Right, so then it's only checking the column. So I'd have to do the same thing. All right, well, I'm going to expand my farm. And let's do increase the speed of my drone. Unlock debug. All right, I'm going to stop this for a second. So I think I just, this is like the console, I think. So after it goes through and it moves to the east, it'll print this position too. Okay, so this is the console. So if I just add X and Y together and then do the divided by 2, or the modulo 2 or whatever, if I do 0 plus 0, it's 0, stays the same. 0 plus 1 is 1. So, I mean, this first column will stay the same. But 0, 1 would be 1 now, which would be carrot. And then 1, 1 would be 2, which would modulo to 0, which would then result in... Yeah, so that's how... Okay, let's test it. If get position X plus get position Y modulo 2, at that point you plant a bush or a carrot. Hey, look at that! Probably not necessary, but it sure dang looks pretty, and I am proud of that. Oh, well, we're running out of hay and we're buying carrot seeds. So I think at this point, the question is, how do I get the hay in there? Then we would have all 3 on the grid, doing their thing, being happy. So, I guess, I think this would be a good time to use an incrementer, right? Because I can't use the get position X or get position Y again, at least not a way that I can think of right now. But if I did an incrementer, which means I'd need to define a variable. All right, so I'm going to set it to 0. So past me didn't do a great job explaining this part. Now it's up to current me to try to pick up the slack. First, I defined a variable incur and set it equal to 0. Functionally, this holds a value we are going to increase each time the loop is run. Now our if statement says, if the drone's X position plus the drone's Y position is divisible by 2 without a remainder, because the modulo returns the remainder, and our incrementer variable is divisible by 2 without a remainder, then this statement will return true, in which case it will plant a bush and then add 1 to the incrementer, changing its current stored value from 0 to 1. Now, when we run the loop again, since the variable is not cleanly divisible by 2, that first statement will return false, in which case it will skip to the else if or elif. Our else if statement says the same thing as the first statement, but doesn't check for the variable. So else if the drone is on an even tile, plant carrots. Finally, if both previous statements return false, then it goes to our else, which just says plant hay. So to simplify, I'll just reverse the logic. If on odd tile, plant hay. If on even tile, plant carrots. If on even tile and has even incrementer, plant bush. Now that's how it's supposed to work, but let me know if you've already spotted the problems while I've been explaining this. Oh, wait a second. Does that reset it? Yeah, I think I need to move this out here. because if I left it in the for loop, then it would go back to the top, but then it would set it back to 0. The incrementer at the end of the for loop, which is the end of the column, sets it back to 0. So it just means in every column, it's either going to be a 1 or a 0, basically. And just to see if I'm crazy, I'm going to do quick print incrementer. Okay. Why is it not? Do I have to untill the soil? Is that what it is? Okay, so now I just made it so it's its own function until if the ground type does equal ground type soil, till it, which will change it back to turf. Maybe just for legibility, I could stick with the same framing, which is if it's not equal to grounds dot turf, just so that way I'm just like, wait, why are both of these using the soil thing? Okay. I feel like actual programmers are gonna watch this and just cringe so hard at everything that I'm doing, but you know what, we're learning. Hey. Huh. Yes. Hey, that feels pretty good. Okay, I don't have pumpkins. I feel it's funny because I haven't unlocked anything new. I've just been like reworking my existing stuff. All right, I know that my incrementer works, and so I am going to. It's interesting that it gives me 0, 1, 1, 1. Ooh, wait. Oh, actually, hold on. If it gets to 2. It goes back to planting bushes. So does that mean I need to also put the increment in there? Because once we expand the farm, only these first ones will be... Wait, what? Wait, why is the carrot on 0, 0? Because the bush should... What? I don't know. I need to get this grid to 5 if I want to figure out why that's happening. Which means I need pumpkins. Pumpkins! I need 500 wood. Okay, so that's probably where the trees come in. Yeah, that's our next unlock. Okay. Let's talk about trees. Trees are a better way to get wood than bushes. They give 5 wood each. Like bushes, they can be planted on grass or soil. Oh, check it out. I already accidentally... Man, I love it when a plan comes together. So trees are just better versions of bushes. So I can probably just get rid of the bushes. It has a hint, but I don't want to look at it right now because I feel like I'm doing pretty good. So if I just throw down another one of these, make it plant tree. And now if I just come in here and I replace the bush with a tree, it should work the same, right? Just replaces the, yeah. So it worked, but unfortunately the trees don't grow fast enough. We're getting wood, but not as much as we were, and we're also spending wood to get carrot seeds. All right, I think for the time being, ooh, you know what? Maybe this is... This is one of those situations where I have an idea and it wants to take me down a rabbit hole. How do you comment out? Is it the slashes? Nope. Is it this way? Yeah, there we go. What I was gonna say was this would be a situation in which getting a threshold would be the deal, where it's like if we're over a certain threshold for carrots, replace one of these with like the lowest number 1, so then it just kind of like equalizes itself. But I still kind of want to figure this thing out, so I'm not going to worry about that right now. Do we unlock pumpkins or water the plants to make them grow faster? I feel like that's going to be helpful with the trees. Yeah, let's do that one. Oh, nice. So watering makes the speed of stuff grow way faster. So we have to buy empty tanks, they will fill up gradually over time based on the number of empty tanks that we have. I don't even know how I'm going to calculate all that, and I don't even know if I want to, because your number of empty tanks is going to go down. So this is like diminishing returns, I think. As your tanks fill up, they fill up more slowly. So that's weird. But the big thing is that they get 5 times the speed if you water the plants. Okay. There's a few things I need to do. So I need to set up the purchasing of the empty tanks. So I'm just going to copy our buy carrots. Ooh, actually, this isn't going to work. They're not being consumed. They're just changing. Ooh, that's kind of funny. Honestly, I don't need to have a threshold if I just want to make it so every time I do a round, I buy water tanks. Okay, let me unlock multi-trade. So in this case, I don't even need the if statement. It's just trade items, empty tank, 5. Okay, and so then what I would do is at the end of my main, I will also do buy water tanks. The next thing I need to do is if it's the tilled soil, water it. So my only question with this is what happens if I run out of water? Is it going to break the whole thing? But as it stands right now, it's just simple. Do the water check. If it's less than 70%, then water it. And then all I have to do is take this now and then add it to the things that do the till. So bushes need water, carrots need water because they're on tilled soil, and trees need water. All right, let's see. Hey, it's working. All right. And now I can change it back from having double trees to let's throw carrots back in there. All right. Finally, let's unlock some pumpkins. I don't know if I know how to do this. And this seems like a great challenge for another day. Now I am very down to head to Pumpkin Town, as it were. I enjoy learning new things, and this game was a fun way of doing that. So if you enjoyed it too, let me know in the comments if you're interested in seeing more videos like this. And I'm sure this is already going to happen anyway, but feel free to let me know any egregious coding errors I've made, as I'm sure there are many. If you've made it to this point in the video, I appreciate you sticking around and look forward to the next one. And with that, I'll catch you later.